So starting tomorrow, we won't do the front end. I got it.
Yeah, because it's shorter and shorter.
All right, so in the time we have on page Kuf Mem Dalet, reading across the top. When you say the word hayom, lomar, oz kach v'kach loomer, sorry, oz to kavan b'seder kol ha'kavanos, then you should have to think about this in terms of all of the kavanos, haniska la'el that we mentioned up above, which means what? Hizecha b'seder ha'medregel kol yom v'yov, so for example, hamalshal b'zecha b'kim b'leil rishon, Tomer Yom Yom Echad Omer. So we're going to say that today is the first day. So if you follow in the Rashash Siddur, this is right there in a table. Vihi Havaya Achaz Da'av the Yudin. So where I want to get to is the next page, and we'll start that. So like tomorrow, like you say, like that. Gam Tekavein El Oz Aleph Shabashem Ekyech Harishon. So I should have the Kavana here for the first letter Aleph of the name Ekyech Harishon. Sheba Ezer Ekyech Anikroim Saradomim, which are called 10 bloods. Gam Tekaven Lahamshek or Makif or Panimi. So this also you have to have in mind. But you're going to bring in the two Oros. Min Bechinas Malchut Shebechesed Harishon. From the Malchus that comes to the first Chesed, Menachem Mish Chasadim, but the first Chasadim. The Nikdas Bechesed Shuhuz Roa Yamin, it gets into the right line. Valderik Zecha, the Kavah B'Shachal Yamin, the same idea on all the rest of the days. The Daki yearly that's been shown to me, or it appears to me, She'elu Rasar Pamim Kale, these 10 times that we say the name Kale, Omer, which we had said before that you could work it out through the word Omer itself, Kaniskar. Haim Asara Mekifim, they're actually Mekifim. Ki Kain Shem Kael B'Milui, who Aleph Lamed is really Aleph Lamed. V'hi B'Gematria Hakef, which Hak with Lashon Makif. V'Chadaver Etzli Hu B'Safek, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So anyway, I'm not sure what he's sure about or what he's not sure about. I want to go on a little bit more. So he said, "Oh, yesh kavana chered be'inin svirus omer v'tzarek l'kavein ba." There's another idea here. We have to have this in mind as well. V'yinech v'yimeha omer heim b'bechined dinim gevuros. Their concept of dinim and gevuros. I want to make sure I'm in the right place because I want to go someplace and I'm gonna get mixed up. Do the best I can. Okay, so he said, and this is the concept of the 320 dinim that we know. So I'm always trying to figure out in the little blue book that we have, that one table that brings you the, I think it's 7 different types, I don't know, I never counted them up. Is it 5 different types of shach? Or 7 different types of shach? I think it would be 7. So he said, "Hey, gematria ha'omer," and they come out to the gematria of ha'omer. All this has to do with the 320 dinim. I mean, it's maybe a place that we should look at it more closely. So therefore, we have to sweeten them. We have to perfume them. I didn't find what I was looking at. Maybe I skipped it. Now I moved my marker someplace else. Yeah, I did. Beautiful. Okay, well, this is interesting what we're getting into, but I do want to go backwards. I'm sorry I moved my marker or I started someplace else. We would be then, were we on page Kufman Mem Dalet? Is that where I put us to begin with? So what I'm looking for is the Shefa Kavanos down below. So on number Kaf Bet down below, he says, "Ki kamot shekavonas lahamshe yukavanta lahamshe el kael ba'adni kach tekaven lahamshe shem kael b'zah hanikravaya." Now this is where we were in the Rashash that are in the back. He says, "Hine b'divir ha'rab b'drash zeh," and according to this, Nizbar sheyeshnam kamach hamshachos shal chasada v'gevuros v'lavushehem. B'tevis avaya de birchas asfira. That's the first one. when we're making the bracha itself, he said, Mekavana lahavliya asarat damim b'chasarach havayas. So we're saying the bracha itself, and this is the concept where we have this havlah, which we talked about. He said, Rashash nimshachim az gam hachasadav v'boros imachim, which have also the 5 chasadim and the 5 kazaburos. He said, number base is Betevis al Sfiras Omer, Mikavona the Hamshik, the Noka Sarah Shemos Kale. So then we're going to bring the 5 Kale. Now we've been through this in the Rashash, but I'm reviewing it again. Shehem Barasarak Damim Shenahafkoch the Shemos Ekir Peshutim, they could switch as they're in the Havlaw, they become Ekirs. He said, Betevis Ayom, then you get to the word Tevis Ayom, which is where we're at. We didn't quite get into that in the Rashash Center. B'tevis Iyar Mekuvana the Hamshek as the Sorah Shemos Kale from the Skarim Lazaz. I'm going to bring the 10 Kales. The Kales represents an Ekia. Now, in the other places in the Tiv, he brings the same kasha that he had before. Is what are you going to do with an Ekia? Ekia is not the Chasadim of the Voros, it's the Lavush. Anyway, we went through that. Number Dal is Vesfiras Atzbang Bekuvanim Seder Hamshachon Chasada Hamshachos. There we go. Hachasada Vakavushin is boil the Erbe Drashiyot. Bekol Yom Bechina Achaz, every day is a different aspect of it. V'tzarach Lahavin Ma Chiluk Yesh Ben Hamshachos. Oh, Tzarach Lahavin, but you have to understand this too. Masha Kasav Ravsha B'Tevos Al Sfiras Omer Nimshachim Ha'asara Shemos Kale Lenuk. This is bringing the lavush of the kale into the nuk. So, like I said before, is this the same? Is this a definition of the word kale in general, or is it just specific to this? Because you have a kale hagadol hagibor v'hanara like that. Is that a kale which actually represents a lavush? I don't know. So anyway, it's to be found out. The Zeranpin. So it's obvious question is that we don't go that way. How is this possible? He says, kale the nook. So first you start up bringing the kale to the nook. He said, is this? So why would you organize this way? He passes over and gives it to the nook as a bechidas ha'oros ha'shachim alahim. The Mefarshim talk about this. There are 2 different shitos, and we'll just get through what we can here. So he says, Rishita Rishon Saver the mitzvah Sfiras Omer Gam Bizman Azeh Imidoraisa. Now what difference does this actually mean? He says the Sfiras Omer. Ulam Brachos Birchos Sfiro. Now we know Bracha goes with the Rabbanan. So he says Birchos Sfira mitzvahs the Rabbanan Gashar call Birchos mitzvahs like every bracha. Of the mitzvahs. The bar b'divrei of Rashadam the al yedei kiyum mitzvahs the Rabbanan. I just wanted to, because he's been using the word zuna katanim, zuna gedolim. Now he says a substitute phrase is for zuna katanim. When we're talking about bringing it to Yaakov and Rachel. Let me go just back again. The Al Yedecha Bekiyim Mitzvah the Rabbanan Na'asa Tikah V'Hamshachos Ha'ored B'Yaakov and Rachel and Nikroim Zunigatanim. V'Yedecha Bekiyim Mitzvah Sa'aseh Da'araisa Nisaknim V'Nimshachim Ha'ored B'Zul D'Gedalim. So from this way, as it is V'Al Yedei Kiyim a mitzvah, that you're actually fulfilling this mitzvah, and he said it becomes a deraisa. So now we're talking about Zuna Gedolim. So you think about this in Ovi, and you'll see that it's exactly the same, but that everything is on top of the Zuna Katanim. By saying the bracha on the Sefirah, Shehi mitzvah the Rabbanan, Na'asa hamshacha the zona ketanim. This causes that hamshacha. So he said, "V'al yadecha b'mitzvah sfiras atzbach shecha b'mitzvah deraisa." He said, "Na'asem hamshacha the zona gedolim." So therefore, you have the shacha the zona gedolim. Now, I'm still trying to understand the kashas. If you got the answer there, but the shitasim, according to the shita, there's seder hamshacha ugach. B'birchas asfira na'asem hamshacha the zona ketanim. It brings it all the way down. Bechinas and via the birchas the bracha nimshachem alchuv b'levishechem the dacher. So this also causes this to go into the dacher. Yaakov. U'v'tevus al sfiras ha'omer. When you get to al sfiras ha'omer, nimshachem the nook, it goes into the nook. Now let me see if I'm going real fast and there's maybe something I'm missing. So now after you brought it into, you went to this process of the rabbanon becomes it causes a deraisa to take place. He says, "L'achar mekan ha'amshachos ha'na'asa b'sfira heim l'zuna gedolim." So then after that, they all come into zuna gedolim. B'tevis hayom, and when you say this in the name hayom, so it's a different category. He wants to say altogether. Nimshachin devusha ha'hub l'zan. L'fi zechem b'yushav mashi shach ich mamshichem hamshachol l'nuk kodem zer anpen. So now we're trying to explain how it goes to the nook first. The Mayrei Chachol Mishnei Amshachol Shonos, because here we're talking about two different flows of Mochin. The Amshachol Hanuk of Baal Sfiras Omer, the Amshachol that comes to the nook through that. Hu l'nuk the Zuna Katanim, it's a different nook. He says it's going to Nuk Katanim, but Amshachol B'Hayom, when you get to the word Hayom, Hu l'Zah the Zuna Gedolim, it's the Zah of Zun Hagadolim. And that's the shir today. Tomorrow we'll be going at a longer shir because we will be doing the late after Nate's shir.